Into the ballgame is Paul McKeskey, who's become kind of a cult hero in Milwaukee, Tommy.
Fred Roberts hits McKeskey at the other end.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with the big fella, Paul McKeskey, coming to you on a Monday evening. Hope everybody's doing okay with their brackets as we head to the Sweet 16 of the Final Four of March Madness. Mo, I've been waiting for the show all day, man. Just so much stuff to talk about. But first and foremost, welcome to our viewers out there. Want to hear from you. All systems should be go with our platforms tonight. So we're looking forward to hearing from you out there. How you doing, big fella?
I'm good. You know, like everybody else, my brackets are busted, but hey, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's the way it is, man. That is the way it is. There's a lot of things I want to get in to conversation with you tonight, Mo. But I guess we'd start with some of the news of the day. A lot of coaching movement is going on in college basketball. Well, you have a good season and you're on the move. Sean Miller is leaving Xavier for Texas. McCollum is leaving Drake for Iowa. And Medvedev is going from Colorado State to Minnesota. Colorado State had a great run, played a fine game against Maryland. Got hit a tough angle banker to beat him 72-71.
Did he travel?
I didn't think he traveled. Did you think he traveled?
Nah, I think he bobbled a little bit, but nah, I don't think it wasn't as obvious as some of the people are whining about, you know?
Speaking of whining, let me go right there with our guy, two-time national defending champion, University of Connecticut, and their coach, Dan Hurley, who was a little hot after the game. And you always said, Mo, you need to wait after the game because you're just coming off the court and you might say anything. But Hurley went off, said the refs screwed him. He told the guys from Baylor, hope you guys don't get screwed around like we did yesterday. Your thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, he did cool off. That press conference was probably 30 minutes after the game. So that's his fault. I mean, coming off the court, he's mad. You know, he thinks he got screwed. I don't think so. I don't see anything that was blatant about it. And, he makes that comment to the other team as he's coming off the floor. Okay, I could take that, but not in the press conference. I mean, listen, Hurley's a great coach. He knows how to motivate his players. He got good strategy, good player development, all the things that it takes to have a great program, which UConn is. Heck, they won back-to-back titles. I mean, that speaks for itself. But come on, man. Stop whining. Stop complaining to the refs every call. Stop thinking you got screwed all the time. And just take it like, hey, you got beat. That's the way it goes sometimes. You know that. I mean, people get tired of that. Stop blaming other people or the referees, for losing the game when it wasn't that obvious. I mean, did Connecticut shoot 5 free throws and Maryland shoot 30? No, that's not what happened. So, I think when you watch him on the court, and there's emotional coaches, okay, and I understand that. I was one for a while. But you can't complain at every call. What happens is then referees tune you out. Blah, 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 blah. Just like players. If you yell at players all the time, they just blah, 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 blah. They tune you out. You have to pick your times. And I understand working the refs. Believe me. Don Nelson was one of the best. But you do it a different way. He's condescending a lot of what he does. And you go to them, they're standing by you at the free throw line. Hey, man, maybe we get a call down there or whatever you want to do. And then sometimes you explode on them. That's okay. but not every call, every play, and it gets tiring. And I told you this before. He was supposedly up for the Lakers job, and you can't coach like that in the NBA. And I'm telling you what, if he spoke to the referees in the NBA like he does in NCAA, he'd be thrown out of more games than he could coach. Just can't do it. I mean, why can't you calm down a little bit? Your record speaks for itself, and I understand you're upset. You're upset for your players, and you've had a tough year. You lost 3 games in Hawaii or 4 or whatever. You've never done that before, but I mean, this is crossing the line, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. And Mo, I think the best thing he ever did was just kind of work that NBA stuff into a nice contract extension on top of his back-to-back titles.
Everybody does that.
Yeah,
Everybody does that. It's negotiation, by getting another offer. Okay, that's fine. But I hope. I mean, I've seen the 60 Minutes piece on him. It's really good. His wife is really interesting. She doesn't really pay attention to that much basketball. It takes him with a grain of salt. But I'm telling you, man, you're playing 35 games in 5 months. Play 8 months. Play 82 games plus the playoffs and see how that works out.
he could not last doing that. Hey, let me stay here with some of the coaching over the weekend. Rick Pitino took a lot of criticism for not playing his best player down the stretch in the St. John's game. He was 3 of 17 from the floor. R.J. Louis, his best player in the Arkansas St. John's game, he was 3 of 17. It seemed like everybody in that game was 3 for 17. I don't know if it was good defense or guys couldn't shoot straight.
Ricky, they shot 9% from the 3-point line. 9%. How can you shoot worse than any of the other players on the floor? I mean, come on, you shot 9% from the 3 and like 25% from field goals. You couldn't shoot. Everyone knew that they struggled shooting, but my goodness, this was horrible. And I'm sorry, Rick Pitino's a better coach than I'll probably ever be, or whatever it was. But if I'm sitting there and I have my best player, he's the Big East Player of the Year. He's the Big East Player of the Year, and all my guys aren't shooting well. I'm going to go ride and die with him. Maybe he can make some other plays like he has all year. And, I don't, and then listening to his press conference afterwards, when the reporter asked him about that, and he said, well, he played 30 minutes. And so the reporter said, well, was he tired? And then he said to the reporter, you know why he didn't play. I'm not taking any more questions from you. Really? I mean, was he tired? He didn't look tired. So that's a whole other thing. I mean, I understand, sometimes there's got to be something else there. And guess who's probably in the transfer portal right now?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't get that one whatsoever.
I mean, he wasn't the worst shooter on your team. He wasn't. You were 2 for 20 something, whatever you were. You were less than that. I mean, you shot 9% from the 3-point line.
And our great friend Steve is checking in. What's up, Steve? And hello to everybody else out there. Please send us your questions and comments. Any questions you got for Big Mo about what has gone on over the weekend and your thoughts about the tournament so far. We're going to touch on a little bit of the ladies' side of it too. But Mo, as you watch these games, I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of college basketball until this time of the year. I'm an NBA guy mostly. But it seems like the quality of play is lacking a little bit.
Well, I'm surprised.
You got a better eye for that than I do.
I'm surprised how many bad shots are taken, how many forced shots are taken, how many silly turnovers are made. I mean, I would expect that by this time you have your team pretty much ironed out, and you should be holding them accountable in practice about throwing the ball around and making really bad turnovers, making really, really, really bad decisions. Like taking a wild shot instead of pulling it out when you're ahead by 6. Or how about this, Ricky? How about Coach Hurley? Hello, Coach Hurley. Can I ask you a question? Do you work on free throw line blockouts in practice? He would have exploded on that because I think it was a 2-point game. They gave away 2 offensive rebounds on free throws. That's how you lose the game. And that's really mind-boggling to me.
Tell me this then, Paul. Do you think all the player movement that we see in the game now kind of hurts the continuity of the teams, and maybe that's why it's not quite what it was? There's always a lot of movement because you're only there 4 years. You know what I mean? You always got guys coming in and coming out.
Well, a little bit, but at this point in the season, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You've had all preseason. You've had all season. You have many, many, many practices. Let me ask you this, Ricky. How many players did Calipari have on his roster when he took over his team this year?
Not many.
Zero. He had 0. Don't you remember? He had 0 players. They all transferred.
Everybody left. That's right. Yeah.
He had 0 players. And guess what? They started the season or the conference 0-5. 0-5. But then they worked on it, and look what they're doing now. So it could be a problem early in the season. Yeah, okay, you have new players. But come on, man, you got so many practices. I mean, you only play 2 games a week, maybe 3. You got practice time, to work all those players in. That's not a real excuse. I mean, at this point in the season, I don't believe that.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. We if you're a freshman now, you played enough games. You're a sophomore. You got 30-something games under your belt. Hey,
most teams don't play freshmen. Most
Right.
teams aren't playing freshmen. Those guys are 20 years old, 23. I mean, come on, man. I don't know how you can have that much time practice, and now you're going to say, well, we just didn't have the players for 3 years. Come on.
Gotcha. Hey, another coaching move. Former Sacramento King point guard, really good player, Mike Bibby, is going to become the coach of Sacramento State. So
he's going to find out really fast.
favorite son's going home.
Yeah, Sacramento State. You have no NIL money. You play in a not very good gym. Okay, good luck. But I mean, it's like starting to learn how to coach, learn how to ride a bike with your training wheels on. But I'm telling you, he might have thought about being a little more selective on where he went to coach.
Hey, Paul, speaking of a mid-major, no mid-majors in the Sweet 16 this year. First time in, I don't know when.
I think ever.
I think you're right. Does that surprise you?
A little bit, but at the same point, we've talked about this in nauseum that, NIL money, transfer portal, the mid-majors they are development teams for the high majors. The high majors pick off the mid-majors' best players because of the transfer portal and NIL money. And so that creates that gap there of, no mid-majors, being Cinderella stories anymore. And what happens is the mid-majors end up at the end of this transfer portal, there's going to be 1,000 players out there without jobs, without scholarships. And a lot of them are guys that weren't happy at a high D1. They didn't play at a high D1. So what you should do, what you need to do is pick off the best ones of those so you can compete. But NIL money and transfer portal has changed what college basketball is. And that's why a big reason why there's no mid-majors in the Sweet 16 this year for the first time ever, I think, is because of that.
Yeah. And because guys are on the move, Vandy lost the other night, and 13 minutes after his team lost, one of the Vanderbilt players put his name in the portal.
Think about that. Think about that, Ricky. He's in the locker room, sitting next to his teammates, by his coach. That's where he is on his phone. I mean, think about that. How would you feel, man? I mean, he's probably looking around like, nobody looking? Okay, wait a minute. Transfer portal. Okay, sorry.
I'm glad you're not playing today because you will probably be beating up your teammates probably once a week.
No, but I'd be like, why are you on your damn phone already? We just lost. What's the reason? Is there a family emergency? What's going on? Let me see your phone.
No, Mo, I'm working on my brand, man. I'm working on my brand.
Good. Go work on it somewhere else. We'll find a better player than you. Because guess what? With you on this team, we lost. We just lost. You're on this. We lost. So guess what? We can do better.
Hey, Mo, now I can beat you on that because Michigan just advanced to the Sweet 16. And one of their players put his name in the portal right after the game. Scottie Pippen's son, Justin Pippen, is in the transfer portal. And the Wolverines just made some Sweet 16.
Is he playing? Does he play? I don't know that. So he's sitting on the bench. So, I mean, if I'm the coach, I don't take him with me. You stay home. Goodbye. You don't get to go on this trip to the Sweet 16 with us. You don't get to be in our locker room. You're off our scholarship now. You don't. When you put in the transfer portal, you're off scholarship. So goodbye. You're not getting on our plane. You're not eating our food. You're not sleeping in our hotel, and you're not going to the Sweet 16. I hope they're smart enough to do that.
I can't remember the coach now. That was coaching the University of Michigan years ago when Bo Schembecker was the AD, and he took a new job, but he wanted to keep coaching the basketball in the tournament. But Bo said, "Hell no, just go to your own school," and that's how Fisher got the job at Michigan. Bo Schembecker, You want to go? I think he was going to San Diego or something. No, going to Arizona. The guy that went out to Arizona, I can't think of his name. The good coach, too. Both said, "Well, you going out to Arizona, coach? We'll find somebody to coach this team."
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how. I mean, wasn't Indiana doing that at the end of the season? Weren't they letting their coach even though they fired him?
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand as a coach, you have to do what they tell you to do because if you quit, you don't get paid. Right. You only get paid if they fire you. So if they say, "Hey, you're going to coach the rest of the season," you got to coach the rest of the season, do the best you can. But I don't know why a school would do that. I don't understand. They weren't going anywhere. I mean, I don't. They might.
Did not go. They chose not to play.
Because I don't know if I saw their name on there's 16 teams coming here next week. There's 16 teams coming here next week to play in the MGM tournament. I thought I saw their name there, their logo. Maybe not. I don't know.
No, I'll check on that, Mo. But I think they decided they were not going to play. You're watching We Got Next. I'm Rick Hampton. My great friend Paul Mokeski, former Milwaukee Bucks center, longtime NBA coach and scout. Please send us your questions and comments, your thoughts from the weekend. And this is something I want to start doing. I want us to take advantage of Paul's experience and his knowledge about the game and get some of his insights. And I want to start it off this week, Mo. You always hear about, I know you don't you never buy into the rankings and all that stuff. Anyway, I understand that, but I do want you to play along with me
Okay.
because you'll see these guys. He's the number 5 recruit. He's the number 6. So, and you are a former NBA scout too. So, what is the difference when you take the top 100 players in college basketball and then the next set, the next 100 players? Can you find guys on that next 100, on the second 100 level teams to beat that top 100 team?
Absolutely. I mean, wasn't Kawhi Leonard at San Diego, whatever, and nobody knew who he was, right? Absolutely. I mean, Steph Curry at Davidson, right? So, yeah, but, first of all, the reason I don't believe in ranking is who is doing the ranking? Who's doing that? Reporters, scouts, some guy in some gym somewhere? I mean, who is ranking, especially at the high school level? Who's ranking them? And that's my problem. There's a lot of they're doing that, but there's also a lot of unqualified people ranking these kids. So, and I've told you this before, I don't need the 12 best players. I need the 12 players that make up my best team.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And you got to find players that fit both on the court with their skills and in the locker room and with their mentality. Do they believe what we believe? That if I'm a defensive coach, am I going to bring a player in here that can't play defense and hates it? No, I can't do that. I don't care how good he is. And if I'm going to go up and down the floor and shoot a lot of threes, am I going to bring in a player that can't shoot threes? I don't care how high he's ranked. No.
And Mo, help us understand how at the highest level there is the NBA. When you go in and scout and evaluate and look at a player, some of the things you are looking for, not just that he can jump out the gym. I mean,
no, and when I was at Dallas, I was an advanced scout, so I didn't go look at talent, but I did help with the draft. When I was in the G League for 8 years, we had to evaluate our own talent and bring in our own teams for the most part, and but I told those guys all the time, the G League guys that want to get to the NBA, no general manager or coach, not Steve Kerr, not whoever, is not calling me and saying, "Hey, Coach Mo, can Ricky shoot? Can he dribble? Is he athletic?" They don't ask me that. They already know that. They ask me, what kind of guy is he? Is he a good teammate? Does he listen? Can he run a play? Can he execute? Is he tough? Do you want him in your foxhole if you're in a war? I mean, that's one of the things we used to always do as coaches. You get the team in a meeting, and you give them a piece of paper, and no one's going to read it but the coaching staff, and you ask them, okay, you're in a foxhole in a battle. What other 4 players do you want in the foxhole with you? Write down the names and hand them in. And it's so interesting afterwards to open up, and you can see some guys pick their friends, because they wanted their friends. But if you get down to it, most of the guys pick at least 3 of the same guys on that team. It's amazing. So you got to figure that out as a coach when you're evaluating talent. Who do you want to bring into your team? Who fits? What kind of mentality do they have? How do they blend in? Will they let me coach them? All this stuff comes into play, not what they're ranked, for sure.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. I appreciate that. We're getting some NBA stuff here. Yep, I'm wearing my Pistons cap. We got our 40th win last night. 14 wins last year, Mo. 40 wins this year. But before we get to the NBA, we're going to get to it. I see you guys want to get to that. Let's jump over quick to the women's game. And
wait. Let's talk about Sweet 16. Who do you have going to the Final Four? Who do you have?
I like Michigan State, not because I'm here in Michigan. I just think they're just a physical, get after you, we're going to find a way kind of team, Mo.
Yeah. No, I like them. Here's a piece of information for you. Do you know that in the history of the NCAA, there's been only one time, just one time, when all four of the number ones made it to the Final Four? But just one time.
What year was that?
I don't have no idea, but just one time. So, well, my point is, when you pick your Final Four, eliminate the least number one that you have faith in, and you'll probably get your guys in. There'll be two or three number ones in the Final Four, but that's something to really think about when you're doing your bracket. And so mine is, I have Duke for sure, love them. Actually, just ran into one of the agents from Clutch who signed their big 7-foot guy. Talked to him about him a little bit. I really like him. Houston, I have coming out, but they're scaring me now. They're scaring me. I think they're more shaky than I thought. Tennessee is good. So I don't know about Houston. I like Michigan State over Auburn. And then I like Florida a lot. So, I have Florida, Duke for sure. I like Michigan State, and Houston is a question mark for me.
Yeah, I like Michigan State, Duke, Florida, and I think I got Houston too. Of course, I am a Tennessee Vol fan, having been grown up in Nashville, cheering for Vandy and UT. But yeah, Houston did kind of surprise me. But I like the way Houston gets after you too, Paul.
Yeah, but they're not as deep as they have been in the past. I don't think they can do that at the rate that they used to. So, Kelvin, not Kevin, Kelvin Sampson, he straightened that out at his press conference, is one heck of a coach. He is really, really good. He has NBA experience, college experience, great coach at Oklahoma. Really like him, but I don't think he has the tools that he usually has. And Duke is, Cooper Flagg turned his ankle. Everybody was concerned about it. And, it was good to see him playing right away and bouncing around and playing like with no limp. But I think in the long run, that helped Duke because they won their tournament without him. So that gives everybody else, all the other players, really confident. And, I like them a lot. But I like Florida too, even though they got scared.
Well, jump over to the women's side. The last 2 years, the women just had two great tournaments, and you got to tip your cap to Caitlin Clark for that, with all the excitement she created out of Iowa and South Carolina had great teams and all that. It's been a little lackluster so far this year. Man, just a ton of blowouts on the women's side.
Yeah, here's another little tidbit for you. So I think there was 1 billion ESPN brackets filled out to have the perfect bracket. There are none left. None. Zero. There was, I don't know, 500 million or whatever on the women's side. There's like 2,000 still left because the higher ranked teams are blowing out teams. There's no upsets really in women's basketball, or there hasn't been at this level. And, I don't know, man. How can you go play a first round team and you lose by 50? I mean, I don't. So what that tells me is the discrepancy in the talent in the women's game as opposed to the men's game is great, way greater than in the men's game. I mean, when you got a team that was supposedly one of the top 64 in the country and you get blown out by 50 or 60 in the first round, I don't care who that other team is. UConn, USC, UCLA, whoever, you can't get blown out in a 40-minute game by 50 points. Yeah. That's really sad, and that has to do with some of the NIL too. I mean, the top level, Juju's getting money. Those players are getting money, and in the men's game, even the mid-level players are making 15, 20, 50 grand, something like that. But in the women's game, that I don't know for a fact, but I can't believe that's true. I think the higher ups get all the money, and the other players get the money.
Although I will say this, I saw one of the best games of the tournament on both sides tonight, with Maryland coming back from 17 points in the second half to beat Alabama in double overtime. Brad Seller's daughter, former NBA player Brad Seller's daughter, Cheyenne Sellers, had 28 points. But the young lady from Alabama, Barker, well, she had 43 points, 45 points. Sarah Ashley Barker had 45 points, and Alabama was down 3 points with 0.7 seconds to go. Mo, as a coach, you would have loved Barker. Did you see it? She stepped to the line and had to make three. Mo, she went through her same routine. Every shot it took her 3 seconds, whatever it was. She swished all of them.
I guess I'm predicting it wasn't a Giannis 10-second routine. It was a short routine, yeah.
No.
So keep it simple, yeah.
You always talk about routine, and she
Simple.
stayed with it. Because if you get up there thinking, I got to make all three of these no, just go make this one. Now go make this one.
I made 2 free throws in the playoffs against Boston to put the game into overtime. I won a game in Boston in the Garden in making 2 free throws. And you're absolutely right. You have to focus on your routine and not that I got to make the shot, or chances are you're not going to make it. I mean, just think, Ricky, if you went up and did your routine for your golf swing and your golf shot, and every time you're thinking, don't hit in the water, don't hit in the water, don't hit in the water. You can't do that.
And speaking of that, those free throws, one of the great NBA pictures, I'm going to see if I can find it before the show is over. I know I got it somewhere on my computer. Is your teammate and a friend of the show, former #1 overall draft pick, point guard, and I'm forgetting his name, Mo.
John Lucas.
John Lucas comes up and it gives you a bear hug.
You saw that in my office somewhere. I think it's in the garage now, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a great picture. But hey, Mo, let's any other final thoughts on the NCAAs? Hold on before we go here. I want to get some of our folks. Chris says all
what's up, Chris?
Ones are going all the way.
No.
Blue Devils, Spartans championship game. Unfortunately, Duke is gonna get Sparty fans. Okay, we got you.
Okay, okay, Chris. I got $5 on that.
Kelvin Sampson was University of Milwaukee, Wisconsin coach. And that was what you were just saying about Mike Bibby. You got to start somewhere, right?
Well, I didn't know that. That back then, if he was that was Division II back then. So that's a really good Division II program back then.
People sleep on John Shire as a coach. The young man is a solid combination of players, coach, gritty overall ability to navigate today's NIL and the evolving environment. Chris, where's John going? Where's John going?
Where's what?
He's talking about John Shire.
Yeah, I coached him. I coached John Shire in the G League.
Wow.
He is a really nice point guard. He, solid guy. He knows his stuff. And he worked under one of the best coaches, Coach K, for a long time. And, he's just turned into a really, really great coach. I'll give you a little story on him. He has, I think he's got it fixed now with surgery, but he had in his left eye, he couldn't see totally out of his left eye. So I remember early on, we ran an out-of-bounds play. He was taking the ball out under the basket, and the guy was open right on his left side, wide open. He didn't throw him the ball, and he threw it to the guy on the right. I'm like, what? And I said, John, he's wide open right there. He said, Coach, I couldn't see him. I can't really see that much out of my left eye. So why don't you tell us that? We can run everything to your right.
Oh, that's fantastic, man.
Really happy for him, though. Really happy for John. One of the good guys. And turn into, I agree, Chris, he's really, really good coach. And following in great footsteps, right? I mean, they couldn't pick a better guy to follow Coach K.
Yeah, Oh yeah, that's where he is. I couldn't even remember where he was, Mo.
Yeah, he was on Coach K's bench for years and then took over. It's interesting too. He won a national championship with Duke when he was a player, and I saw a little clip of him challenging some players at a shoot around. He was at the 3-point line right in front of the bench, you know, and he going, "Hey," he called up some, "Do you trust me? Do you trust me?" Whap, he made a three. Then he looked at somebody else. "Do you trust me?" Whap, he made like 5 threes in a row like that. "Do you trust me?" Whap, he could still shoot the ball.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Now we're headed to the association as the NBA heads down the home stretch. And once again, we see you guys out there. Send us your questions and comments, uh, and subscribe to the show also. Uh,
Yes, please
we're, we're,
subscribe.
we're we're on every Monday. Got this stuff up there where you can subscribe to Sports Fluent and all that good stuff. We'll
We got next, baby. Push that button.
absolutely with that. Mo, we're heading down the home stretch, brother, of the NBA playoffs. I want to get to some of the questions. Lakers just lost again tonight. They've lost two straight since LeBron's been back. Got blew out by Chicago.
Yeah, but I don't think LeBron or Giannis Luka played in that. I don't. I think Bronny had like 17 in that game because he played.
Right, he did.
So I mean, Lakers are in the 4th spot. They need to try and stay there. They're only a half a game ahead of the Grizzlies because the Lakers want home court and want the Grizzlies. That would be a good first round for the Lakers. I think they handily take care of that, and then move on from there. But it's really bunched up in the West. I mean, you're looking at Denver at the 3 spot is really on the heels of one game behind the Rockets at the 2 spot, and the Lakers, Grizzlies, Warriors are battling with the Clippers and the Timberwolves for the 6th spot. So even though there's only like 10 games left, these teams are still battling for those spots. And all that battling in OKC Thunder are going, yeah, we're here waiting on you because they have a full, well-rounded team and ready for any comers this year in the West. And it's going to be interesting because, in the past, they've kind of fallen short in the playoffs. I don't think that's going to be the story now. Obviously, I think the Nuggets can beat them if they get hot and are healthy. Maybe the Lakers. Clippers are playing better, but if all things are equal and everybody stays healthy, OKC is going to come out of the West.
Yeah, and Mo, and it's really interesting down here in the playing spots where Minnesota is currently at 7, 41-31 Clippers, 8, 40 and 30, 31. Sacramento's 35-35, Phoenix 34 and 37, and Dallas is 34 and 37 in the 11th spot. But Dallas just got Anthony Davis back. Is that enough? Not having Kyrie getting Davis?
I don't think so. I mean, they could survive without Anthony Davis because they have a plenty of bigs there, with Gafford and Lively, who's hurt now but is coming back. But you can't trade Luka, one of the best guards in the league, and then have Kyrie go out with a season-ending injury. So now you had one of the best backcourts in the league. Now you have one of the worst in the league. I don't even know who's playing anymore. I think Christie's there, and I don't know who else.
Yeah, that you know what? That's a great point. That's a huge drop off to have that going on there.
That was the worst position that they could take an injury on, was guard. They could take one on the wing or on in the bigs, which they have, but not at the guard after Luka was gone.
Yeah, Phoenix 34 and 37. Those two are fighting for that number 10 spot, and Sacramento Man, they started slow, got it going a little bit. Now they're back. They're in the 9th spot. They're 3-7 in their last 10. The Clippers are 8-2 in their last 10, and so are the Timberwolves. Although they just got beat tonight, so they're gonna fall back because they lost to Indiana. That's played well recently. They won I think 4 or 5 straight.
Yeah, so when you start dropping games, when you're fighting for a position right now at this late in the season with 10 games left, and you start dropping games here and there, it really affects your standing in the West because it's so tight there. And, you know, it's going to be a battle. You could look at what, the play-in series could be, Clippers or Timberwolves or Kings or Suns or Warriors. I mean, that's your play-in battle. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, probably getting some Piston love tonight. Steve said the Pistons could win a playoff series. Steve, I'm with you, brother. I'm always scared to be that way about my hometown teams, but I like that matchup. If they catch New York, they played them well all year. And to Chris's point, Detroit fans love these kids. Thompson, athletic defensive guy, and his running mate, Ron Holland, 19 years old, had 25 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and 5 assists last night. And he has no idea what he's doing, Mo. He's just running up and down,
Hey,
driving on the floor.
Don't they have a Thompson twin also?
Yeah, they got Asar. Yeah.
Asar. Yeah, he's that guy too. Long, athletic, runs around energy. Yeah.
They don't know what, Mo. They're just playing, man. They're not.
If you're going to make a mistake, make an aggressive, hard playing mistake. That's what I always say.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. And so the Pistons definitely have a little momentum. They got a tough ending stretch, but it's going to be hard to get them out of that 6th spot as we head to the home stretch. And I am concerned about the Knicks. I like the Pistons matchup, but I don't care who they're playing, Mo. They just don't look right. And, Brunson's out right now. So you're not going to look that good if you don't have your best player, of course.
Yeah, but they were struggling before he went out too.
Right.
And they're, like you said, Ricky, there's just something that doesn't feel right there. You think they picked up Anthony Towns. You think and they got Robinson back, their big 7-foot rim protector, who was out all of last year. So you think, okay, this looks like it really fits. And you got Brunson and it looks like it fit. They're tough and they're hard nosed and they're coaches like that. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't worked. Kind of like the Phoenix Suns. It just hasn't worked.
Mo, they miss Harkenstein. That's what they miss, man. You look at Oklahoma City now with him, and you look at New York without him.
Yeah, but they have Robinson back, who's similar to that. So Harkenstein would have been a backup there. It helps them for sure, but it's something more than that. Do they miss Harkenstein? Yeah, sure. Could a lot of teams use Harkenstein? Hell yeah. Is Oklahoma City really good with them? Yes, but as far as the Knicks are concerned, with Robinson playing, it's not that much of a hurt as it could be.
Hey, this is a great question, Mo. You can help us with your front office experience. Why are the Mavs bringing AD back? With Kyrie out, they need to shut Davis down and trade him in offseason and retool and rebuild after the worst trade in NBA history. First of all, I don't think that's the worst trade in NBA history.
No, absolutely not. There's been some bad trades. I mean, hell, Milwaukee traded Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Lakers for like 5 guys, some decent players. Come on, isn't that worse? Come on. But yeah, Chris. So I kind of agree with you a little bit. Shut them down, see if you get healthy. But guess what? Your fan base is mad at you. You traded Luka. They're steaming. So now you're going to sit out AD when they come to these games? He's healthy. He has to play. Come on, man. If he was sitting out and he was healthy and they were still you would be complaining, why isn't he playing now? Why isn't he playing now?
Giannis is back slowly down offensive. Steve,
He's Giannis tends, and I agree a little
he
bit.
slows them down on the offense. I got you, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, he holds the ball. He dribbles the ball too much. He doesn't pass the ball. The ball doesn't move when it's in his hands, and that's a problem. They're better off if he will rebound, and when he rebounds, just pass it and run the floor. If you watch them when they do that and move the ball and pass the ball, they're really hard to beat. But especially when the playoffs come, you can key off one guy. You can load up on him defensively. You could do all kinds of stuff. And he's not a great passer, like a Joker or somebody like that. So, I just wish that he would change his game a little bit, not just from the free throw line, but get a mid-range game and pass the ball more and get it back later. You don't have to rebound, dribble it down the floor, and go up against three guys and probably get fouled or dunk it, and then you got to go to the free throw line. You're probably going to miss one or two of those. Why? Why you make it so hard on yourself? But we'll see.
I mentioned Harkenstein and what he meant to the Knicks, what he means to OKC. I think in Milwaukee, I look at Holiday and what he meant to them. I mean, there's some guys, you look at their numbers, he averages 12 points a game. He averages 10 points. But the value to what they bring.
That's a good comparison. So Holmgren was playing the 5 at 7'1", 220 pounds. So you bring in Harkenstein, who moves Holmgren to the 4 and lets Harkenstein be the physical guy in the paint, right? So you lose Holiday, and you bring in Damian Lillard, who can score better than Holiday, but can't guard anybody. He's a small guard, and he can't guard anybody on the perimeter. So if you would have had both of them on the team, Holiday and Damon, think about that backcourt. But you don't. So there's the difference in both those success stories.
I love Holiday. I brought this up to you last year after I saw it. I couldn't wait to see the big center from the Pacers caught it in the post against Holiday, the 7-footer from Indiana. I can't think of his name right now. Big guy. Holiday pushed him out about 15 feet away from the back. I'm like, dude, how you let him do that to you?
He's stronger.
I'm like, come on, man. Oh, my God.
Here's what's interesting, too. Holiday might be available next year. He's not playing as much as he was last year.
OKC coming out of the West. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've made the moves, Chris. They got Harkenstein, they got Caruso, they got veteran experience now. They move Holmgren to the 4, and Denver could maybe beat them if they're healthy. Clippers are coming on; they have the talent to. Golden State, no. Lakers, maybe. But if everything's push and shove and everything's equal, I think OKC comes out of the West for sure.
Now, again, Steve, you're hot tonight, man, because you're right on point. Getting Bobby Portis back will be big for Milwaukee. And they'll have him back for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they get him back in a week or so. And, he's one of those same guys we were just talking about, Ricky. He can make a 3. He's physical. He rebounds. He can score in the post. He plays hard. He's, a Milwaukee favorite, second only to Paul Mokeski. So getting him back will help them.
Milwaukee, baby. Hey, Mo, Chris. Hey, what's up, Chris? Chris checking in. He said, who's the best heckler that you came across in the NBA?
Oh, well, the Barber in Detroit, for sure. You know who that is, Ricky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was relentless and brutal and but factual. You know, he would get on players, and then there was a lawyer in Washington when they were the
Finkel?
Bullets.
Finkel?
I think so. I don't know his name. I just know him as asshole. But yeah, probably. But he was very, very clever. Uh, you like that, huh, Ricky? Hey, it's the truth.
I'm
And
just playing.
but he was really, really on point with his. You know, you can heckle and you suck, blah 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 blah. You know, okay, whatever. I hear that all the time. But if you,
Robin Ficker, Mo. Robin Ficker.
but if you're specific with your heckling, you know, hey, Ricky, you can't hit a free throw, or you know, hey, Mo, you can't guard Ruland. You know, he's going to foul you out. If you're really specific about that, then it kind of gets irritating. And they both sat behind the bench, and you know, you have to ignore him. And we tell young guys coming in the league, don't look at him during the timeout. If you do, he's going to pick on you the rest of the game and probably the rest of your career. And you know, I told you this story, Ricky, but you know, what's his name? Hickler, whatever his name is.
Robin Ficker.
Yeah,
He was an attorney.
Yeah. So he was famous for heckling, but he never cursed. And at a timeout of one game, I think it was either Dick Bavetta or Jess Kersey, one of the older refs. And I was just talking to him during the timeout. He was by the huddle, and you know, I said, "Hey, can we get this guy out of here?" He goes, "Tell me he cussed." I said, "What?" He said, "Tell me he cussed." I said, "He cussed." And he went up there, got the security, and kicked him out of the game. He was livid. I didn't cuss. Why are you kicking me out of the game? He was looking. I had to eat my towel so I wouldn't be laughing too loud. Sometimes payback is nice.
Hey, the question is coming in fast and furious, but we only got a couple minutes left.
Let's fast and furious head them out. Let's go.
Were the Clippers Clipper again this year, Mo?
What?
Will the Clippers screw it up in the playoffs?
They're playing better. Kawhi's back. I think they're more healthy. Zubac is their center. He's really, really good. I think he had like 30 and 20 rebounds the other game.
Yeah.
They have the personnel, but they seem to always Clipper the Clippers. So I think they, you know, I agree. I don't think they make it very far in the playoffs. They even win a playoff.
The Pistons could get Jaden Ivey back from the for the playoffs. I don't know how much he would play, but he could end up dressing. They could have one of the fastest teams in the league with Holland, Jaden Ivey. Too bad it's not track. The Pistons would definitely win.
Yeah, the problem with that is, Ricky, who are they playing? Cavs, Bucks.
Yeah, they're not. If they can win a series, man, if they can win some games in the series,
that's huge. Yeah, you have to build from somewhere.
Yeah.
Or get in the playoffs and have a good tight series. Be competitive. That will help next year for sure.
Hey, congratulations to Chris Wynn. He had a nice little parlay win tonight. Bring back Terry Cummins in Milwaukee. He can help the Bucks.
No.
Yeah, well, in his prime, he could have for sure.
Yeah, so could I, but we're not coming back.
Kevin Durant wants out of Phoenix. Kevin Durant always wants out of wherever he is, right?
Let's see. He wanted out of OKC. He wanted out of Golden State. He wanted out of Brooklyn. Where else does he want out of? You know, come on. That's no surprise. And, you know what? It didn't work, right? And you can't trade Beal because he has a no trade clause if he doesn't want to go. And you're not going to trade the other guard. So, you know, why not? Not trading Booker. So why not maybe see what you can get? Maybe you can get a couple first rounds and a couple good players. Who knows? Mix it up.
Mo, we got 2 minutes left. Just your thoughts on what you're watching now. College. I'm giving this to you.
What do you think? Like college?
Just any other thoughts?
Well, here's like we're talking playoffs, right? We're talking NCAA. We're talking NBA playoffs. Right. And in NBA, your 7-game series, you can recover from some small mistakes a little easier, but small mistakes cost you games and eventually will cost you a series. In the NCAA, it's one and done. And small mistakes in the game, not blocking out from the free throw line, will cost you a game and send you home. So I think mistakes are huge in basketball. They come and you make them, but at the same time, you got to really cut down on mistakes, cut down on turnovers, cut down on bad shots, cut down on bad decisions, and then you got a way, way, way better chance of winning a game and moving on or winning the series. And it's amazing to me how many mistakes are made. Not missing a shot, not physical, I can't get to the rebound, but mental mistakes, and fundamental mistakes. Stepping out of bounds on the sideline. I mean, come on, man, really? How many times are you going to do that? So I think the teams in college and the NBA that limit their mistakes, their silly mistakes, are the ones that are going to be successful. So we're going to see moving forward who does that.
Hey, and coaches out there, if you got a high school coach, especially you got a team that struggles with your free throws, find the highlights of the Ashley Lee Barker shooting her 3 free throws to tie that game up with 0.7 seconds.
And send it to Giannis. Send it to Giannis.
Mo, quickly, Steve, watch out for the Nuggets. Your thoughts on that?
If they're healthy, they're one of the teams that could upset OKC if they're healthy. But right now they're not healthy. I think the Joker's injured now, so that's a big key.
Can the Gators win it all?
Yes. Yeah, I think they have the size. They got tested last game. I like that. Okay, this isn't going to be a cakewalk, guys. I like it. Maybe that's turned on that switch. They have the talent to win it all. I would love to see. I think they're in. I would love. Oh, maybe not. Florida and Duke. Can they play in the finals?
Let me get. I got my brackets here.
Yes, they can. Yes.
Okay.
I think Florida plays Michigan State and then Duke and Houston. So yes, they can. That'd be a Duke, Florida, awesome final game.
Mo, any advice to the kids that are jumping in the transfer portal?
Make sure you know where you're jumping, because sometimes there's no place to land, and you'll be out there. There's going to be 3,000 players in the portal. You're going to be out there, turn around, going, can I get my scholarship back? And the answer to that is no. So be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Man, Mo, what I told you before we came on the air, this is going to be a great show. I knew it, and, man, we appreciate you guys out there. You helped make this a great show with your questions and comments. Tell your friends. We're here every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe to the show at Sports Fluent on YouTube.
And Chris, get off Caveman Keno. Get away from that machine.
All right, I got one more here. Let's see if we can get it in. What are the Mavs doing? No, that's an old one. Hold on. Breaking news: UNLV Josh Pastor, next next UNLV coach.
Yeah, his name is
Chris. Think about that, Mo. That was one of the great jobs in college basketball. Now, can they get back to that?
Yeah, I think, but they have to get NIL money from some of these casinos, because that if you get NIL money, you can get. Give me $10 million, I can get you in the Final Four. But if you don't have that backing, it's very difficult. You're going to get other people's retreads. You're going to get the people we just talked about in a transfer portal that have nowhere else to go. Yeah. So they have to. And I think Josh is a really good coach. Hopefully, he has connections here in Las Vegas to make it happen.
You know what?
I want to go to games.
Hey, Mo, I got to ask this. I hope we don't get in trouble for going too far over time. But a kid that you saw jump into the transfer portal when his team just got to the Sweet 16, his team just lost, and 13 minutes later, if you're a coach, do you look at him and question, okay, do you have questions for that kid?
No, I have no questions. I have one word. See you later. Goodbye.
You wouldn't be interested in it.
Absolutely not. Why would you? I mean, obviously he doesn't have faith in your program or you as a coach or his teammates. Why would you bring him back? I don't care how good he is. I'll go find somebody else. I mean, that's just, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I understand, you finish the game, you go home, you talk to your parents, you talk to people around, you figure out, this maybe not the place for me. I need to go see what else is out there. Yes, but not in the locker room after the game. That's a different level. That's stabbing you in the back. You might as well just stand up in your locker, say, "Hey, see you losers later," and leave.
Yeah. That shows he was not invested in the team.
Of course not. If you're doing that already, and the Hurley already said on 60 Minutes that half his team is considered or looking at the transfer portal. I mean, that is what college basketball is. But like anything, there's a correct way to do it. You don't do it 15 minutes or 10 minutes after you lost the game.
Yeah.
It's not the way to do it.
All right. Well, what a great show. Hey, thank you, everybody out there, for tuning in. Tell your friends. We're here every week. For my great friend, Big Mo, Paul Mokeski, I'm Ricky Hampton. We're going to get out of here. See you next week.
Later.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.